All right, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's trading recap from March 8th to March 12th, Flagstaff edition. I traveled on Wednesday to my brother's place in Flagstaff, so only had about a half of a week of trading. As you can see, my losing streak has continued, down $390 this week, which is still only a little bit less than 1%. If you've been following along, last week I came into this week with no positions. Put on a couple positions at test size position size, like 2.5%, 3% of my portfolio. Early on in the week, got chopped up a little bit, and right now sitting with about 12% net long exposed. But for this week, no completed winning trades, unfortunately, and a couple losing trades. So MARA down 5.1%, FUTU 4.7, and IMGN down 4.4, or closed down 4.4%. So that's something probably unique about my channel is I don't just show my winning trades. I'm always 100% transparent and show my losing trades as well. They're the best to learn from, not only for me, but for you guys as well. So if you're interested in stock trading content, please follow the channel, Stock Tricks with Nick. Subscribe, leave a like on the video, and follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're coming here for a certain stock, the timestamp for that stock will be in the comment section below. For the agenda, we'll go over a market recap. We saw a lot of stocks bounce back this week after getting strong sell-offs the last couple of weeks, so that's good to see. We'll go through the Tik Tok Trading Challenge very quickly, review of last week's breakout watch list, take a look at what stocks I'm holding over the weekend, and review my past trades. Quick disclaimer, anything that I say is not financial advice or stock trading advice. This is all for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before trading. Trading comes with financial risk. All right, quick market recap. Man, did we bounce back strong this week. S&P 500 up 2.7%. The NASDAQ QQQ up 2.2%. That still has been the laggard, but good to see it close positive this week and over some key moving averages. Dow Jones continues breaking into all-time highs, up 4.15%, and FFTY, the IBD Top 50, that most correlates the high-growth stocks that I trade, and seeing that up 8% this week, really great for the market. A lot of good setups are forming up now after we got some 30, 40, 50% flushes in the high-growth names that I typically trade. So I was able to avoid all of those pullbacks. I was only about 4% off my account balance high. Now, with moves like this, it's time to start building some progressive exposure as I get profits on my trade. So I'm not trying to go 100% into the market all at once, because if this is just a bull trap and then we move lower, I don't want to put on 100% exposure. So this is where I put on test size buy positions, 2.5%, 3% position size compared to my portfolio. And then as those break out, move higher, I can move stops to entry point and take new trades to increase my risk or increase my exposure in the market with the same amount of risk. And that's what progressive exposure is all about. So with the market looking this good, things are coming back. A lot of stocks are in position for the breakout watch list posting on Sunday morning, and it's time to start getting back into trading. So last 4 weeks, I've been doing very little, and it's exciting to get back into it now. So Tik Tok Trading Challenge, if you're new to the channel, all the money that I make on TikTok, I throw into a trading account. And then from my breakout watch list on Sunday mornings that I post a Twitter poll, and I let you guys vote on your favorite setup of 4 different of the stocks that I talk about. This week we had Google, GM, ORGO, and PRTA to choose from. Unfortunately, the highest vote getter was Google, and that was the only losing trade out of the watch list, down 1.6% from Monday's open to Friday's close. GM up 9.2%, ORGO 15.3%, and PRTA, I actually traded that myself, so we'll be going over that chart in a little bit, up 5.4%. So at the end of the year, if this account beats my own personal trading account on a weekly compounding basis, I'll be giving it all away. Make sure that you comment either your TikTok or Twitter handle in the comment section of this video that will be dropping down right here, because at the end of March, I'll be giving away $100 to a random commenter. And then at the end of the year, if this account beats my own, we'll be giving that account away as well to a random comment that we'll select. So make sure you put your TikTok or Twitter handle in the comment section of that video that I posted. You can see I was down 0.84% this week, still up about 15% on the year, so doing well. TikTok Trading Challenge, that account was up 5.3% this week, and we're coming back from the big sell-off, so still down 13.7% on the year. Now on to Sunday's watch list. So every Sunday I put out a breakout watch list of between 10 to say 20 stocks that I think have breakout potential in the upcoming week, along with why I think their setups are so attractive and the buy points that I'm looking at. This week we got a great bounce back. So out of the 10 stocks, 9 were winners, 1 was losing, 1 was a loser, which was that Google stock. And we had an average gain loss of plus 9% on the week alone, which is great to see. The market during that time, as a refresher, S&P 500 2.7%, NASDAQ 2.2%, Dow Jones 4.1%, and IBD Top 50, that FFTY 8.02%. So we even beat the IBD Top 50, which is great to see. We're back on the right track now. Here were the largest winners from that breakout watch list. ADNT up 25% this week, ORGO 17.4, GPI 10.4, GM 10.3, and PRTA up 7.8%. So great watch list. Make sure you tune in on Sunday for this week's watch list. All right, now we're on to my current holdings. So like I said earlier, I'm only 12% net long invested at this time. We're doing progressive exposure, not just trying to call the bottom, because I've never had very good success with that. If you're great at calling bottoms, more power to you. You have a trading strategy that works. That doesn't work for me. Not my personality, not my risk structure, risk tolerance. So for me, I am putting on some test positions, and if they break out, I can move that stop up to entry and take more positions, increase that exposure with the same amount of risk. That way, if the market pulls back, it's only knocking me out of my test size risk, which is a great way to get yourself back into the trading mindset and the exposure that you'll need to actually get those large capital gains. Like I said, all of these are test positions, so they're all under 5%. My typical position size is 10% when everything's working. I'll scale down to 5% if things are starting to get a little bit shaky. And now, as I'm coming back, I'm between 2.5% and 3%. RICK, try to get that on at the end of the day today, but that was only a partial fill. I got 1 share out of the shares that I was trying to get. So just funny. You should make sure you're trying. If you don't get filled right away, try and stay on top of that. Try and maybe put up your bid to get a full fill there. So just something to shout out there. Don't have any shorts on, and like I said, we're gonna let the profit I get on these test positions finance the risk for the next positions, and that's how we're gonna grow out. So I'm gonna switch over to stockcharts.com. We'll go over each of these stocks, why I took them, and then break down all of my losing trades of the week, because that's equally as important. What did I do well? What did I do not so well? So my losses can pay your tuition in the stock market. All right, first we have DEN. And first thing that I wanted to talk about was how great of relative strength that this showed during the pullbacks that we got the last 4 weeks. Only 18.5% off its high after a 94% run since late December, which is great to see. Pulled back to the 20-day moving average right through here. Undercut that a couple times, but then formed up this nice pivot point through a couple daily highs. I took this trade on Friday with a break over Thursday's high point at 43.86. Also wanted to point out really good volume on an up day, and then as we pulled back, the 2 heavy candles, red candles right here, came on very light volume. So this was a name that once it found some support around the 20-day moving average, tightened up there, wanted to get some position size on, because typically the stocks that hold the best relative strength, once the market comes back, they're going to float even higher. So this is an active position, DEN. Next we have LORL. I bought this one today as well, Friday, 148% up, pulled back 20.7%, so good relative strength. Bounced again at that 20-day moving average, just like DEN. Had a nice flush on this large candle. So we pulled back during the day and it got bid up all the way back to basically break even on the day. Some sideways action. This is one that you probably could have taken at a lower trade, but I was flying, so could not take the trade either on Thursday with a break over Wednesday's high or Wednesday. Probably good I didn't trade this Wednesday because we reversed lower, closed low. Maybe would have taken it off, but Thursday would have been a fine day to take that with the break of the previous day's high. But I just bought it as it was coming across this top part. This is one that Leif put on the watch list as well. So kind of double conviction to put the trade on, but still test size position. Got good volume coming out, low volume coming back in. Another good thing to look at. LORL. Here was PRTA. This is the one that was on the breakout watch list for you guys that I put out on Sunday morning. 158% up, 27% back. So just a little bit too far to pull back for a high tight flag. Remember, those are 90% or more in 8 weeks or less, and then pulls back within 25% of the high. 27.7%. Most of that came on this long lower wick, puncturing the 20-day moving average. So even that's just a good shakeout in a base. Formed a nice lower pivot through here, and I bought this Wednesday in the morning as it was breaking over the previous day's high at 22.25. Still a light position size, but looking to possibly add to this as we have a couple daily highs coming through here. So if on Monday we break out over Thursday's high point, I might add some size onto this if the market's acting well. That was PRTA. Next we have SHC, another one that Leif put on as well. This one has just been trading in this box for a long time. Finally broke out of it today. Unfortunately, I basically bought the highest tick. I got a bad fill there, but really small position size, so not sweating that. Hopefully this wasn't a fake out before we go even lower, just kind of trending in this channel again, but just a break into all-time highs, tried to get filled on that, didn't get filled at the right moment. Ideally I would have been filled around 29, got filled about 1% higher, so not too much sweat there. Good volume coming out on this reversal day here, so that's lining that up, and those are all my current positions. So let's then jump to my past trades. So if there we go, we have AVYA. This one 86.6% up, so not quite a high type flag, but then only pulled down 18.2%. Had this nice shakeout in between the 20-day and 50-day, kind of no man's land, but shook out right there, bounced, had a pullback, or started lower, bounced, started lower, and then took out the high, which correlated with the high from this red candle day. That's where I bought it at 30.37. Had a very tight stop, 2% stop. It pulled back, stopped me out, whatever. During this testing environment, as I'm trying to add exposure back in, I'm going to be running tighter stops with smaller position sizes, because if the market's bouncing back super strong, some of these names are going to work out for me. And if it's not, then I don't want to be adding too much exposure. So down 2.3%, probably too tight of a stop because we got some good follow through the next day, inside day on Friday today. And like I note here, this is setting up really well again. We have a couple daily highs, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 daily highs right around the same price. So if we break out over Thursday's high on Monday, that's going to be a possible buy point. I might look to add this to the breakout watch list for Sunday. So this was AVYA, very small loss, took 2.3% on that. Next we have FUTU. This is me just over trading on a Friday while I'm on vacation. My brother was busy grading, and my girlfriend was out talking to some of the professional runners out here in Flagstaff. So instead of just enjoying it, I put on a couple too many trades, but this one had a 450% move up, 42.4% move back. Typically that will require much longer time to set up than what it did. So kind of kicking myself on this. If I would have taken this trade again, I should do it with lighter position size or just kind of let this be a test. Like not put the trade on, but literally just watch it as it was a fake trade, like a paper trade. But moved some sideways, broke over the high point after this pullback. The candle on Thursday, where it was very little movement, very little volume, and holding on that 20-day moving average. If we broke that's what set it up for me. And when we broke over Wednesday's high, that was the buy point. Unfortunately, flushed down, got stopped out at a 4.7% loss. But this is another one where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 daily highs right around the same price. Maybe it comes back on Monday or later next week. So this was 4.7% loss, about a $93 loss. Probably me over trading a little bit there. IMGN is next. So this one, 4.4% loss, just a $50 loss. Ideally, you don't have any of those losses, but these are the test buys that I was putting on. This one, I traded it yesterday while I was traveling. Got caught in a layover, didn't make my flight, so did a little bit of vacation trading. And again, probably shouldn't. This is me admitting that that was a fault. I was just bored at the airport looking through some charts, and instead of playing solitaire on my chart or studying for my actuarial exam like I should have been doing, I just overtraded here. Lost 4.4%, but this was 75% up, 26% back. Had this nice kind of 2-day shakeout, firmed up. ATR came in, average true range. And then when it broke over Wednesday's high, that's when I bought it. And I got stopped out basically at the low on Friday for a $50 loss. As IMGN. Next, we have LAD. This is one that I took on Tuesday. So remember, Monday, market pulled back. Tuesday, we got that good follow through. This was breaking out into new highs. That's when I bought it. And then basically right when I bought it, it reversed lower, stopped me out for 4%. It was showing great relative strength, only 11.6% back, while the rest of the market, rest of the growth stocks were really pulling back. So the relative strength was in my mind while taking this trade, and just a controlled 4% loss. I wouldn't have either way. I probably would have gotten stopped out of this even with a looser stop, because I typically use the previous day's low as a stop, and we did undercut that on Tuesday before bouncing back on Wednesday. Maybe I could have put this back on Wednesday, but I don't know. I was trying not to overtrade and then ended up doing it with other stocks. But another quality setup that was shaken out. This was just a poor environment for low risk traders early on in the week. Later on in the week, things started to firm up and go. And unfortunately, I was just not 100% prepared to trade later on in the week, and I should have just sat out, like I said earlier. MARA, another example of me overtrading on Friday, while just being bored, down 5.1%, $76. This was a name that I've been wanting to get into for a long time. So when it set up like this, I was excited to take the trade, probably falling in love with a name that, or not falling in love, but just taking a trade that I wanted to take for a while now. This was on the breakout watch list earlier, right through this, and I could have bought just to break into new highs, kicking myself on that, but pulled back 47.5% through here, and then pulled back again, had a nice shakeout on this red candle, then bounced back on good volume, came up here, started lower in the day, and then took out the high. That's when I bought, and then we just reversed lower, and I got stopped out 5.1%, down $76 for another controlled loss. This one, I'm going to need to see it kind of move sideways down to the right before trying to trade it again. But yeah, that's MARA, I think. Then we got the Rick one. I did trade SQQQ just as a hedge on some of my trades. I was down maybe $50 on that as well. And we get back to AVYA. So that's going to be the trading recap of the week, again, from March 8th to 12th. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I just posted the Trading 101 episode 1 episode, so make sure you check that out, where I'll be teaching 3 of my friends who have never traded before how to trade from the very beginning, very basics of trading. So if you're a new trader and all the stuff that I talked about in this video is too confusing for you, make sure you check out that Trading 101 series. Follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok, and I'll see you guys Sunday morning for the breakout watch list for the following week. Have a great weekend.